Alright guys, welcome back. I have not done a video for a while, rightfully so. I need to get my butt back in here. My boy, our guy, Thomas the Train Petersen, making his long-awaited UFC debut. Me and all my friends, his wife, anyone that supports this man, after the first fight, his first amateur knockout, we all knew this was destined. This was meant to be. It was going to happen sooner or later. This has not been an easy road for Tom. Tom's been fighting his butt off, training his ass off. It is time, guys. UFC Vegas at the Apex in Las Vegas. They're the first fight on this card, and I can't be more excited to get into this. So first off, I want to shout out my guy, Uncle Wheezy on YouTube. If you don't know him, go over to his page, follow it. He does very good breakdowns. He's very analytical on all his stats and why he thinks people are going to win the fight. My guy said, it doesn't matter. He's looking forward to it. He thinks it's easy money on Petersen this week. He says Pogues isn't dangerous anywhere and Thomas is dangerous everywhere. Minnesota stand up. I agree. Minnesota stand up, but you got to give the respect to Jamal Pogues. The guy is a UFC fighter, and he's a good fighter. All these people on YouTube breaking down fights, you should talk about these UFC fighters or anyone that fights as if they're right behind you. I mean, come on. I'm not even going to get into it because I don't care that much about these guys. We're going to get right into this fight. My guy, Thomas Petersen, 8-1 pro record, fighting Jamal Pogues, 10-4. Buckle up, guys. First fight on the card, and it's going to be a great one. So our guy Tommy, he comes in with a slight favorite, rightfully so. He's on a 3-fight win streak, all by finishes. All of his 8 wins are finishes, guys. Okay, so anybody that, whatever, I'm not even going to get into it. We're all just going to stay positive. So I might be a little biased, but I think Tom wins this fight. I think it's going to be a hard-nosed, gritty fight. I think it might be Tom's first decision ever, but I also believe that he's probably going to knock out Jamal Pogues. I think Tom's wrestling is much better than a lot of these heavyweights. Obviously, you get in the top 5, it's a different story. They've been doing this for a while. But Tommy's wrestling is going to stand out in this fight for sure. Jamal Pogues has good takedown defense. He has fought solid heavyweights, but he has not fought my boy Thomas the Train Petersen, 2-time state high school wrestling champion. Yeah, then he went to Iowa Central, dominated over there. And notably, you got to think of Colby Covington, John Jones, Cain Velasquez. This is where these people have came out of college, where he's fought. So, wrestled out of that college. The guy's wrestling is impeccable. He's not going to stop until he gets that takedown. 100% takedown offense. He hasn't been stuffed yet. 100% takedown defense. He hasn't been taken down. I don't see Jamal taking this down. Jamal Pogues is going to want to sit on that outside with that 3-inch reach advantage, and he's going to try to jab him away. Jamal Pogues has a great jab. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Jamal Pogues has a great jab, but Tommy's striking is so underrated. He's been honing it in for a while now. Let's think about this. He's got the fastest knockout in heavyweight LFA history in 19 seconds. Okay? Let that sink in. My boy's got hands. Okay? Stop sleeping on him. Man, I could talk about this fight all night, but this is UFC Vegas 85 fight card. I'm going to break down all these fights. I cannot be more excited for my freaking friend Thomas Petersen. He's been training his ass off. and he's coming in here to do the damn thing against a solid heavyweight in Jamal Pogues. This is his third fight in the UFC. As you can see, his LFA Contender Series won by decision. Beat Josh Parsons in a split decision. Personally, I think he took a nasty front kick right up to the jaw, right up the middle in the jaw by Josh Parisian, and he kept going. He had a very nice jab against Parisian. He got taken down by Josh Parisian. Tommy's wrestling is leaps and bounds above Josh Parisian, and I'm not giving crap to Josh. I think Josh would agree with me, okay? And then he got outboxed, out wrestled against Mick Parkin, excuse me. And now he's facing probably his biggest nightmare yet in a wrestler in Tommy. And Tom's got 8 finishes, 7 by knockout, and his last one was submission. Chandler Cole, who was also a solid heavyweight, and Tom went in there, and he lets his work do his talking. You know what I mean? He's not going in there and talking crap and being all cocky. No, Tom's the most humble guy we know. Can't be more excited for him. I can't imagine how nervous it is stepping in your UFC Octagon debut. But Tommy is going to get this done. You bet your ass. I'm going to parlay, excuse me, my boy in a parlay, 3 or 4 fight parlay. And I'm going to take him inside the distance. I personally think he's either going to knock him out or he's going to submit him. He might submit him. Jamal Pogues is tough. Give the man some credit. Everyone sitting here saying Jamal Pogues is a bum or Tommy's striking's bad. Who the F are you? You know, I'm gonna keep it PG because we got friends and family and maybe some kids watching. Who the F are you, man? I would love to see you get hit by Tommy or Jamal Pogues. You're taking a dirt nap. Okay, I'm not gonna get too fired up. I think this money line is right where it should be. Tommy opened up as a pretty big favorite. Money's coming in on Jamal Pogues. Tom's a slight favorite. It's right where it should be. All right. I'm so excited for this fight. Me and all the boys are gonna be watching together. Wish I could be in Vegas. Shout out to my boy Dylan. Obviously Tom's wife and all his family, her family, they're all down there. I wish I could be down there. I'm jealous of you guys. You guys have a hell of a time. Happy for you. We're going to be holding it down here in Minnesota, and we're going to be standing up. We're going to be cheering. I'm probably going to live stream it off YouTube, you know, our reactions and stuff, win or loss. Obviously, we're here with the boy. I'm giving all the credit to Jamal Pogues. He's a tough dude. This is going to be a tough, hard-nosed fight. It ain't going to just... If Tom goes in there and steamrolls him in the first round, it's only up from there, baby. It's only up from there. Not a lot of... I don't think anyone's went in there and steamrolled Jamal Pogues in the first round. He's a big heavyweight. So with that being said, I got Thomas. I'm going to parlay him. Probably inside the distance because I think he's going to knock him out or submit him. Let's go, Tom. Moving on to the next fight. That one's going to... I'm going to sit on that one and talk about it the longest because he's my freaking good friend. We cannot be more excited for you, man. Best of luck to you. I'm pumped. Moving on to the next one. Markel Medeiros versus Landon Quinones. Another great fight. Markel Medeiros looked very good coming off the Contender Series with that knee right up the middle as his opponent. Was it Lugo? No. Issa Eskov. Sorry. He was coming in for a takedown. Hit him right up the middle with the knee. Followed it up with some strikes. Fight's over. And I also agree with these betting odds. Guys, listen, most of these 13 fights, the money line, the betting odds is pretty. It's almost like a pick 'em. Most of them. And I think this fight is going to be a banger right after my boy Thomas heavyweight fight. And sorry, going back there, I didn't even show his Instagram. Go look at his Instagram if you're not following him already. Petersen.ThomasHWT for heavyweight. Man's a family man, obviously. Loves his wife, loves his wife and kids. We all know that. Can't be more proud of him, excited for him. What his future's bright. And his training partner, Lawrence Phillips. Man's a dog, dude. Tom's been training with a lot of guys. Sorry, I could go on forever about Tom's fight. Can't be more excited for him, man. So, back to Markel Medeiros and Landon Quinones. I think Markel Medeiros has great striking. He's on a great win streak right now, coming out the Contender Series. Landon Quinones, too, though. He went in there and fought Nasrat Haqparast and put on a great fight. Personally, I probably won't parlay or bet this fight, but I am leaning to the slight underdog. I think Landon Quinones has better head movement, great footwork, great takedown defense. I think people are all leaning towards Markel Medeiros. I think Landon's going to win this fight. Okay. Like I said, I'm probably, he's fighting on a kill cliff, and Markel's fighting on a Factory X Muay Thai. Both great gyms, phenomenal gyms, great sparring partners. I personally think Landon Quinones is going to win this fight. Moving on to the next fight. It is Julia Stoliarenko versus Liana Carolina. And a lot of people are leaning Juliana Stoliarenko over Carolina. I personally don't have the best read on this woman's flyweight fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm just going to sit back with some popcorn, maybe beer or two, maybe some Fireball with the boys, and I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not going to bet this fight. I don't have the best read on him. Moving on to the next fight. Blake Builder versus Jiang Li. This is going to be a banger, guys. This is absolutely going to be a banger. Lee is on look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak. Second round, first round decision, first round, and then a tough fight against Yang. It's going to be a great fight, guys. I mean, look at it. He's got 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. The only loss in his career is by decision. And that was, as the Road FC where he's been fighting out of. And Blake Builder, another tough guy. Personally, I see this fight going, if Lee does not knock him out or submit him, which I personally think is going to happen, is going to go to decision to Lee. Blake Builder is a great fighter, and he's, hard-nosed fighter who's come up the hard way. And there's no easy way for these guys to come up other than fighting great fighters to get into the UFC, and here he is. Blake Builder is a good fighter. He's primarily a grappler. Okay, let's be honest. And Young Lee is a striker who throws bombs from the hips. He looks to take your head off. Blake Builder is going to look to dodge, my opinion. He's going to look to stick him with the jab, but he's at quite a big reach disadvantage. He's at a 5.5 reach disadvantage. Personally, I see Blake Builder losing this fight. I'm probably going to parlay Lee in a knockout prop. I think Lee's power is crazy here at the featherweight division. He's got big power. He's technical. And I personally, not to harp on Blake Builder, when I talk about these fighters, like I said earlier, you talk about them as if they're behind you. Blake Builder would beat the shit out of me. Obviously, all these fighters would. I'm talking about who he's fighting, though. I think Blake Builder is a little chinny, and I think personally, if he gets hit by Young Lee, he's probably going to get dropped and TKO'd. I don't know if he gets completely knocked out. I have Lee in this fight. Moving on to the next, I have the slight favorite. Thembo Garimbo versus Pete Rodriguez. One of the hardest fights for me to predict, truthfully. A lot of people are going Pete Rodriguez. I understand it. You go look at his highlights. Dude's got big power. He's an undersized welterweight. He's a smaller welterweight, and Themba Gorimbo is a lengthier, reachier welterweight. Um, Themba Gorimbo, with that being said, excuse me, I think he has fought tougher competition than Pete Rodriguez. We have not seen Pete Rodriguez ground game tested, and Themba is going to do that. He's going to look to go for a takedown early. He's going to look to get to the knees. He's going to look to take him down and wear on him. And Themba's got great submission game. He's also 33 years old, and he's a little chinny. I'm just so. I think this fight's a pick 'em. It's going to be so close. I just can't see myself laying a money line on a minus 300 favorite on Themba Gorimbo. You look at Pete Rodriguez, UFC debut. He got thrown to Jack Della Maddalena, which we all know. If you follow UFC, Jack Della Maddalena is fighting Gilbert Burns, upcoming pay-per-view card. He pieced him up in the first round. Looked like they fought 25 minutes. Pete Rodriguez was all bloodied up. Now he's fighting a grappler. I personally, man, this one's so hard. I think Pete Rodriguez could knock him out in the first round, but if he doesn't, I think Themba Gorimbo takes him down, wears on him, because we haven't seen Pete's ground game much. This one's so hard, man. The 4-inch reach advantage Themba's got. He's got a little more. He's got more experience in the octagon. I'm gonna edge out Themba Gorimbo barely, and I'm not. There's not a lot of confidence in me saying that, because Pete Rodriguez has great knockout power. He's good on the feet. Themba's dropped a few people in his last fight against the Asian guy, Takashi Sato. Great fight. I thought it was a competitive fight. He dropped Sato. I thought he was going to knock him out, but he did not. He also had AJ Fletcher's back. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? He had AJ Fletcher's back for a while, and then when it was in scrambles, he kind of rolls off of it. It's a weird thing. Themba Gorimbo's he's got underrated grappling and submission game though. Like we all know that's what he wants to do is take you down and submit you. Probably not gonna bet this one in parlay. With that being said, I'll probably Friday comes around, watch me do it. But this one's tough, guys. I'm gonna just edge out Themba Gorimbo. I think if he's smart, he's gonna look to grapple him and take him down and stay away from the big heavy punches of Pete Rodriguez. But I would not be surprised if Pete Rodriguez knocks him out. So I'm probably staying away from that. He's too big of a favorite for me to put money down on him. So moving on to the next one. This one I'm very excited for. Charles Johnson versus Azat Maxim. Azat Maxim, we all know, is coming in undefeated, 17-0, has not lost. Charles Johnson is on a 3-fight losing streak against Ode Osborne, Cody Durden, and that was a split decision, and Rafael Esteban. Man, Charles Johnson is tough though. He's never been finished. And Azat has great submission game. He's got power, man. This fight will probably go to decision, but I personally think Azat gets it done by submission. His sub game is so strong, and he's very technical. He knows what he needs to do to get in. He knows what he needs to do. You need to get Charles Johnson down, wear on him, tire him out. That's not an easy task though. Charles Johnson has fought solid competition, and he doesn't get finished, guys. This guy doesn't get finished, okay? So, I just personally think the UFC is pushing for Azat. What is going on? Is pushing for Azat to get a W and just get him 18-0 and build this guy up in the flyweight division. Not a whole lot of flyweights, we know that. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. They're both 70-inch reach. Charles is fighting on a Tiger Muay Thai and training with good guys. I also feel like Azat could be a bigger favorite It'll probably go decision though. I'm looking forward to this fight. Charles Johnson's no joke though, so that's why I say he's probably going to go decision. But Charles is also 33 years old. He hasn't been finished in any of his fights. This could be the fight where he gets submitted. Okay, I'll probably be throwing a little parlay sprinkle on a finish by submission. All right, moving on to the next one: Molly McCain versus Diana Belbita. These girls have already fought before. I'm not going to go too in depth on this one. There was talks though, and this is why I'm not going to go too in depth. Diana Belbita, 15-8. She's talking about retirement possibly after this fight if she loses. Molly McCain's got big power. If she gets out of that first round and makes it a longer fight, the favor is in Diana Belbita, but that is if she can weather the storm and punching power of Molly McCain. Molly's a great boxer for the women's flyweight division, and she's a moderate favorite. I probably won't be betting on this one either because Molly's getting older, and you look at her last few fights. Erin Blanchfield's a beast. Julia Starienko, she got submitted by, and before that, they were hyping her up. She was on a big fight win streak, and then they gave her Hannah Goldie before that and knocked her out. And I think they're giving her another spot where she could knock out Diana Belbita. Okay, I think that's probably what will happen. If not, it's going to go to decision Molly McCain. Moving on to the next one: Gilbert Urbina, Charles Radke. Personally, I think Gilbert Urbina wins that fight. I don't even need to talk about that anymore. No disrespect to Charles Radke. Radke. I just think Gilbert Urbina is the better fighter. And you look at here, he's got 2 knockouts, 2 submissions, 3 decisions. Only time he's lost is by decision. Excuse me. And he got submitted here. What is going on here? He lost TKO. I don't know why it doesn't show he got lost by TKO though. See, that's the thing. I guess I don't know too much about this shit. He lost to Sean Brady in the LFA. Who wouldn't lose to Sean Brady? I don't know these. I don't have a great read on these guys personally, guys. But I think Gilbert Urbina wins that fight. Moving on to the main card. Oh my God, these ads are getting annoying. Makhmed Muradov versus Kizriev. This one is hard to gauge, guys. You got a 33-year-old Kizriev who's had quite a few canceled fights against a 33-year-old Muradov, the underdog, who's got massive power in his punches. His last fight was against Brian Barberena. People are like, oh, Brian Barberena's a can. No, he's fucking not. Brian Barberena hits hard. He's durable. And you went out there and you beat him up for 15 minutes. And you look at some of his losses, though. Gerald Mershart, that didn't age too well. Barallo, though, this guy's a prospect in the middleweight division. That one's going to age well. And that one, he went all the way to a decision with him, okay? And you look at these guys, you look at Kizriev's wins. Rear naked choke, rear naked Dennis Tululin. Good win for him. But his other ones, it's hard to gauge in these different organizations, guys. He is 14-0. He can tire out a little bit, and he's small for the middleweight division. He reminds me, not small, he's shorter. He's not small, he's a big, muscular guy. I'm going to edge a little bit here on the underdog, and I might take a parlay on Muradov. He's got bigger power, and he's got a lot more fights under his belt. Everyone's got to lose at some point. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to lose at some point. He's 4 inches taller. He's training out of the better gym, getting the better sparring partners. I personally think Muradov wins this fight, and I'm kind of biting my tongue when I say that because Kizriev's undefeated, but that's how I feel. The next one, I'm not even going to take a lot of time on this. I think Natalia Silva runs through Arugio. No disrespect to Arugio. I had her in her last fight against Jennifer Maia and I cashed. Natalia Silva is a different beast. Moving on to the next one. Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikov. This one's really hard for me to gauge, guys. Really hard for me to gauge. I did my homework on this. Muslim Salikov has great leg kicks. He's a great grappler. The only thing he doesn't do very well is fight against rangy, athletic strikers. And yeah, Randy Brown's not the most athletic, but he is very rangy. He's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage. He's a much taller guy. Look for Muslim Salikov to kick his legs and take him to the ground. Randy Rude Boy Brown, though, he's been through that, guys. He's fought some grapplers and he did well against them. It's not a very high level welterweight fight. You know, if you're thinking about like Jack Della Maina versus Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, I mean that's high level in the welterweight division. I personally am going to edge with the favorite here slightly, but not at this money line. A minus 240 favorite is kind of crazy, but I get what they're saying. Muslim Salikov is 39 years old. He's about to be 40. I'm going with your boy, Rude Boy, Randy Brown, alright? And then for my favorite two fights left that I have the best reads on, I personally think Drew Dober versus Renato Moicano. I got my boy Drew Dober. I think Drew Dober's hands on every fight starts on the feet, right? Drew Dober has great knockout power. He's very technical, very defensive. Renato Moicano better look for that takedown, and you better look quick, because I think Drew Dober is going to crack him. Personally, one of my buddies, Wheezy here on YouTube, Uncle Wheezy 33007, he made a good point. I personally think Drew Dober inside the distance, but Drew Dober ain't submitting anybody. He's going to knock you out, or he's going to get knocked out or submitted. Renato Moicano, though, amazing submission grappling skills. I mean, he's kind of like a mini Charles Oliveira, where he gets cracked in these fights, he gets dropped, and then he somehow comes back and looks for, that submission, and he usually gets it. Personally, I think Drew Dober has more experience. He's fought better guys. He's fought Islam Makhachev. He's fought these guys, and he's knocking people out left and right. You know what I mean? Renato Moicano's a little chinny, with all respect. Especially a Drew Dober. Someone rip into the body, rip into the chin. I got my boy Drew Dober. And last but not least, Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. This fight is Vegas has it absolutely wrong. Imavov is the slight favorite, and I think that is so wrong. Everyone does Roman Dolidze wrong. I got Roman Dolidze by leaps and bounds, and he's an underdog. Give me that freaking money. He's knocked out Jack Hermanson. He knocked out Phil Haas nasty. He knocked out Kyle Dawkins. And then he lost a split decision, in my opinion. I think he beat Marvin Vettori. Who goes out there and out-grapples Jack Hermanson? He almost submitted him, but he TKO'd him from the back. If it goes to the ground, I got Roman Dolidze. But guess what? I know Nasruddin Imavov. He's very bouncy and elusive and quick on his feet. I just think Roman Dolidze, he'll be there a few times to get tagged up and he'll adjust. He's gonna counter. And when you get hit by Roman Dolidze, guys, go watch Phil Haas. Nasruddin Imavov couldn't knock out Phil Haas, and a lot of people knock out Phil Haas, including Roman Dolidze. He knocked him out cold, guys. And then after that, he fought Jack Hermanson, knocked him out. He's fought Jack Hermanson, Marvin Vettori, notably big middleweight names. That experience alone, Nasruddin Imavov hasn't seen anybody like that. You go look at Ian Heinisch, all right, beating him. Edmund Shabazian gasses out. He took him to the ground, did what he had to do. Joaquin Buckley, decision. Personally, thought he probably lost that fight. And then he lost to Sean Strickland on a short notice fight. So he did get that experience. And then it was that fight. What's the word I'm looking for? It was a no call cancellation, whatever. He was winning that fight though. Personally, guys, I think Roman Dolidze is experienced in the octagon with better fighters, and he's knocking them out cold. Take my money, dude. I want to say Roman Dolidze knocks him out, but I could see him submitting him too. I'm probably gonna go inside the distance. I ain't gonna spend any more time on that. I got all the respect for Imavov. A lot of people think he's like a good prospect in the middleweight division. I think Roman Dolidze is even better. He's a little older. I think he's better. So with that being said, if you're still watching this, I appreciate it. Please leave a subscribe, leave a like. I appreciate it. Leave a dislike if you didn't like it. But here's my parlays. You waited till the end. Here are my parlays. And if you want to look to, follow my TikTok or my Instagram page at Blake's MMA Show. I post all my stuff for my parlays if you want to tail me. My boy Thomas Petersen, first in my parlay, of course. Yang Ying Lee is second. Azat Maximum and Roman Dolidze. That is going to be my 4-fight parlay. For sure, I might throw Drew Dober into there, but I'll probably be throwing Roman Dolidze inside the distance, Drew Dober inside the distance, Azat Maximum just the money line because Charles Johnson is a good fighter and it might probably will go to decision, and then my boy Thomas Petersen inside the distance, guys. If you like this, again, please subscribe, leave a like, leave some comments. I appreciate you all for sticking around. I'm glad I can't wait for our boy Thomas Petersen, guys. Everyone that's in here saying, on YouTube he's not in shape, he's not taking this serious, this and that. You're gonna eat your fucking words, man. Go watch this fight and then leave a comment if you thought Jamal Pogues was gonna win. All respect to Jamal Pogues. I'm just sick of hearing people saying Tommy isn't taking this fight serious. This is his UFC in debut, dude. Of course he's taking it serious. Let's go. We'll see you guys again next week. Joe Pyfer main event against Jack Hermanson. Thank you very much. We'll see you around.